Hello everyone and welcome to the second installment of Shadow Recon. I hope everyone got what they needed out of the event and enjoyed it as much as they could. And hopefully you'll be enjoying Nightmare as well. Anyway, the patch notes, the 12.20 release notes have dropped, as well as the Shadow Ops briefing and the Gearstore update for October. So I'll go through them quickly, and there are some other notes that I want to point out because they have been asked quite a lot recently. Anyway, so we have Shadow Ops Chapter 2, which you can earn the fourth part for the War Barge, as well as the Janissary components. Warpath is the same. You earn medals and blood thorium as you engage other players. We have Showdown this time. Survive against waves of enemies using only your heroes to win XP. Completing all 4 Showdown bases grants a massive bonus XP prize and increase your XP bonus combo. Stack multiple XP bonus combo boosts on top of each other by restarting Showdown and playing again. Unlock base 4 by defeating bases 1 to 3. This Showdown you can earn the new Echo hero, Arietta, her bronze, silver, and gold tech, and training tokens. In addition, Forrest and Braden are receiving new renowned levels. So with Forrest, he gets a stat buff at level 6. Now when they say stat buff, it's not just damage and health. It can also be speed. It can also be range at some times. So when they say stat buffs, it doesn't restrictly means damage and health. So you can expect almost anything. Now some of them may not be apparent, like for example, they might get a bonus to their reload speed, for example. So, or even sometimes their size. So it's not restricted to just health and damage. So when you check these heroes out, once they get renowned, you can just look at everything to see what exactly changed. Anyway, and at level 10, rangers spawn more frequently. So I think currently it's at 5 seconds where he deploys 2 rangers. So the percentage isn't mentioned here, but we'll see once we can get his tokens and upgrade them to 10. Braden also getting renowned, level 6, he gets stat buff and loses his hero status. So you can deploy him with other heroes. And at level 10, it decreased damage taken from distance. So basically, if you are dealing damage to Braden from a long distance, then he takes less damage. So basically, it allows him to get close to long-range units easily before he takes major damage. Now, what the percentage is, I'll have to ask around to see what the percentage is. But if I had to say or guess, I would say in the 30% or plus. Just a guess for now. It starts on October 21st and ends on October 24th. There's the Gearstore update. So this month we have the Commandant along with the bronze and silver techs, as well as new blood thorium exchange techs for the legendary Halcyon. And you can all unlock them with a single purchase. They cost 5 blood thorium apiece. So you buy them once and you can equip them as much as you want. Agile Rotor increases movement speed, turn speed, and acceleration by 100%. So currently its speed is at 3, which makes it 6, which is quite fast. Slot private, rarity bronze. Hard cockpit effect adds 50% damage reduction from all sources. Now this isn't an armor up, just so you know. It's not timed damage reduction. So it's just permanent damage reduction. So at all times, it's going to take 50% less damage from all sources while you have this tech on it. Slot captain, rarity silver. Reflex gearbox adds the 360-degree move and shoot and can target air units. Slot commander, rarity gold. So now you don't have to worry about air units killing it while it's not having the ability to shoot back. And for bug fixes, it is general fixes and improvements. Now, when they say general fixes and improvements, not all of them are fixes and changes or improvements that people will understand. Like, for example, some of them are backend improvements or fixes. So explaining what they are is gonna take a lot of the space here. So just rest assured that when they say general fixes and improvements, they are actually working on there are fixes and improvements. They try to make as much as they can with whatever time and resources they can have at the time. Anyway, moving to Shadow Ops. So it's the same structure. Earn the parts over the next 6 weeks to earn all 8 parts. Get the gear needed to bring your Janissary to the next level. Now here is what I mentioned before. Now phase 4 and 5 are the same, but phase 6 is where it changes. It starts from October 28th, which is when Nightmare starts, and ends on 31st. So, don't freak out when you don't see Shadow Ops popping up there with Nightmare, because Nightmare is the Shadow Ops for phase 6, and where you can get the 6th part as well as any other parts you may have missed by replaying the mission track. This is the same description of the war barge. So the Janissary tech, ultralight gear, increases movement speed by up to 30% max level. Slot armor, rarity bronze. Folding bipod increases acceleration by up to 30%. Slot armor, rarity bronze. Ghillie suit, damage reduction from air by up to 24% at max level. Slot equipment, rarity silver. Triangulation lens, damage reduction from burst by up to 24% at max level. Also goes to equipment. So these won't be that much of a difference during when you're using them in bunkers, but once they go out and they start being in direct line of sight of the enemy units, then you can start to see their effectiveness. Moving to the Gearstore update. Now the Commandant and its components are here, as well as the Blood Thorium components for the legendary Halcyon, and so are their descriptions here. Now, moving to some of the things I've noticed here or asked about recently. When sometimes people were wondering if the units in the event bases got their ranges changed, and I got it a lot in my DMs. This isn't really the case. It's just that the LiDAR support turret, as well as the far side, can buff the unit's ranges, even if they are inside bunkers. Now, I asked Drake whether this is intentional or not, but he told me that they are fine with it. And it is designed to buff units, so technically it is buffing the units inside. So, uh, when you're when you're strategizing your base layout, you can use the lidar and the far sight by positioning your bunkers near them so that they can get the buff to their range. So if you were to go with the Janissaries, they have 650 range with the Gold Tech Damascene Metallurgy, and when they are buffed by both a lidar and a far sight, that is 150 range. So that makes them at 800. And if you were to position them in a watchtower, that's 1200 range. It's a little shy from the controller, but still pretty long range. So if you still have an issue with the fighter company for whatever reason, you can use these in a watchtower and you can kill it quite quickly, I would assume, on paper at least. Now, if you were to go fully survivors, the issue you might run into is triggering your survivor buff, Warlust, because I assume everyone who does PvP has their apostles in drone silos. Apostles are sentinel units, which by default would cancel out your faction trait. Now, people would bring the argument that it's a drone silo unit and it shouldn't break the trait, but that is not the rule that was told to you at all. The rule was told that any unit without a faction in the drone silo will not affect your trait. Same thing with the turrets. Neutral turrets will not affect your faction trait at all. But if you use a faction turret or unit that is not aligned with your faction, then your trait will break. Which is why when you bring out apostles, they are as sentinel units, they will break your buff if you are survivors or corpus. Now, you might ask then, why did the harpies not break the buff as they are now? That was just an oversight. So instead of fixing it, and it probably would have caused quite a lot of outrage, so the team decided that they are better off with just keeping it as is, but changing it for future units that go into the drone silo. Now we probably, well, I don't know if probably is the correct word, but we might end up with neutral drone silo compatible units in the future. But for now, if you are going to go fully survivors after seeing how effective the Janissaries can be in your base defense, just make sure to replace your apostles with whatever other drone that you have other than apostles, just so that you can get your faction trait active, and you can also capitalize on the faction talents of the your other survivor units. Now, just so that I can be sure to cover this as well. Now, for those who don't know, you can always ask me about these things, and I can always ask the design team to get more details on these. But at level 1, the LiDAR defense turret gives all units that are close to it 55 extra range. At level 2, it gives 65 range and decreases damage taken from all sources by 8%. At level 3, the range boost goes up to 85 and the damage reduction boost goes to 16%. At level 4, the range boost goes to 95. The damage reduction stays the same, but in a new boost, which is increased damage dealt by 20%. At level 5, the range boost goes to 100. The damage reduction stays the same, but the damage bonus goes up to 30. So it is important to max out your LiDAR defense turret so you can capitalize on its maximum bonuses, as well as making your bunkers perform the best they can be. Now, the damage bonus and the damage reduction doesn't apply to the bunker itself, but the units inside. So, as I said, you're with the max level LiDAR and then on the far side, as well as a Janissary with all of its components equipped. Well, the Damascene Metallurgy specifically, it has a total range of 1,200 in a watchtower. So this brings the video to an end, I guess. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found all of this informative and helpful to you in your future endeavors, whether it's PvP or PvE, whatever fits your boat. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.